Hello, and welcome to our What's It All Worth webinar. My name is Nicole Christensen. I'm the CEO of Care Answered, providing patient advocacy and care coordination. I am also the proud founder of Answers for Care, the one-stop village for senior care professionals who are vetted and wonderful. So I'm so glad that we found you here. We have one of our Answers for Care professionals on with us today, Barbara Feldman, who's going to give us so much great information if you're even thinking about moving or downsizing or decluttering or organizing your home. You're at the right place. And we have Pam Winter here, who is going to talk to us about tips in regard to real estate, selling, and all that good stuff. So we're really excited to have you here. I'm going to briefly introduce both Barbara and Pam. I will start with Pam because that's the order that we'll be going in. Pam offers her clients over 20 years of real estate experience, grounded in a prior career in fixed income trading and sales, a seniors real estate specialist, which is the SRES that's mentioned there on the slide. She has worked extensively with active adult and senior living communities, as well as buyers, sellers, landlords, and tenants. Pam's mission is to be a trusted partner, protecting and enhancing real estate investments, maximizing profits while minimizing expenses, utilizing proactive strategies, clear communication, and dedicated service. And she's also just a wonderful friend of mine and of Care Answered, and she just does fabulous work. And let me tell you a little bit about Barbara, who is the founder and CEO of A New Start New York, Inc. So she was selling technology products to Wall Street firms for over 20 years. And then she was introduced to a friend to the senior move management industry. And having moved herself many, many times over the years, she realized she had a knack for organizing a move in an efficient and well thought out manner. So her first response was, I can do a mitzvah and make a living at the same time. And in October 2007, she ended her previous career, and started A New Start New York, both giving herself a new start as a self-employed entrepreneur and helping seniors start anew in the next chapter of their lives. Barbara is a certified relocation and transition specialist, which is important. And her staff helps seniors and their families downsize, organize, donate, sell, pack, move, unpack, and manage the overwhelming transition process. She is also a member in good standing of the National Association of Senior Move Managers. So clearly we have people with a lot of experience to share with us today, and I'm so excited to have them both here. So we are going to start with Pam.
Okay. Hi all, I am a licensed real estate salesperson. And as Nicole mentioned, I've been doing this for many years. I also have a background in appraisal. So residential appraisal was very easy to segue into from bond trading, believe it or not, when you do value to value. So determining the value of your house, of course, is really subjective in terms of what people are willing to pay and also what the market will bear. We all talk to our friends and neighbors about what's been going on in the real estate market, and it's pretty crazy. It's not crazy everywhere, but it is crazy in the New York metropolitan area. And that doesn't mean that everything is selling, but everything is selling that's priced correctly. We had a little conversation with Denise before the webinar started, and this is something that it's easy to address what you're going through right now. So the first thing is you want to know what your house is worth. I think everybody has an idea because they hear about their neighbor's house we make adjustments for things. You may be doing new windows, perhaps your front door needs to be painted. Little simple things can make a big difference. And you'd be surprised how much information there is out there. I recently read how houses with black doors sell for more money than with any other color. How can you figure that out? You know, it would also have to be the style of the house. Certain houses might not look good with a black door. So you have to use a grain of intelligence with some of the stuff that you read. But I believe in not investing a lot in your home unless you have a lot to invest and have a lot of time. Time is of the essence. So the first thing you really need to determine is your time frame. What are you looking to accomplish and when are you looking to accomplish it? If it's a project that you're just getting your house ready and you'll sell it sometime in the next 3 to 5 years, then take your time, do little things if it makes you feel better. But to put in a new kitchen, to refinish your basement or finish a basement or do something major, add an addition, I would say it's really not worth doing that. If you want to do a facelift, if you have an ugly 1980s half bathroom, you know, for a couple $1,000, you can probably get a new toilet and vanity, a mirror, and some paint, and you'd be surprised how much that would add. So that brings me to a handyman. You really need a good handyman. You need somebody who shows up. Barbara recommended somebody to me years ago who was absolutely fantastic.
Best.
He is great. So you need one of those. You need somebody that answers your calls when you have something minor that has to be done, but it really needs to be done. Painting is a wonderful thing. I suggest you start with the outside of your house and look at your curb. Curb appeal. Curb appeal sells. This is a good time of year to think about maybe putting in some plants that might flower in the spring if you don't have them already. That would be maybe tulips. You could put mums in if you're looking to do something in the fall. Maybe you want to sell your house before the holidays. So it really does depend on your budget and your timing. You also need to look at what needs to be done. If your dishwasher doesn't work, have it fixed. They'll find out about it. Believe me, everybody does. Most people do an engineer inspection. I am in the camp that I will never tell someone to waive that. I think it's very important for you to know what you're buying. There are techniques that agents use where they don't make it a criteria, but between the time that you agree on a price and then you sign a contract, you can arrange to have an engineer come in. And you really should do that. You should really find out the soundness of the house. The engineers, if you haven't gone through it, you can actually do a pre-sale inspection. So if you think maybe there's something wrong, maybe you have mold in the house or you hear something in the walls, you don't know if you have termites, it's possibly worth hiring somebody. I can't tell you what the cost is. It's somewhere between maybe $400 and $1,000, depending on the extent. But this is your biggest asset. So you want to maximize the value that you get by making sure you take care of the little things. Because during negotiations or towards closing, if those things aren't working, it may not close. The house may not close. And at the ninth hour, the attorneys are trying to make a deal so the house closes, and they may charge you more for something that hasn't been addressed. So really think about, put yourself in the position of the buyer and think, what are you buying? You really want to buy you want to buy the house that you see. You don't want any surprises. So if you talk about what's important in order, I would say curb appeal, the roof. If anything's leaking, look in the inside of your house. Do you see anything where it looks damp or there's cracks, which may indicate something? Those are things that are going to cost you, and somebody who's not knowledgeable, like children, maybe young people that are buying for the first time, not going to want to address something that could be a problem down the road. Windows are important. I wouldn't say it's a major importance, but it does add value if you have very old windows. And the disparity in costs for windows is huge. I just had windows done a couple of years ago. After getting estimates that range from $17,000 to $60,000, I went somewhere, not the cheapest, but a little bit higher, but nowhere near $60,000 for 22 windows. So you really do need to shop around. Your kitchen, do the best you can with your kitchen. If it's an old kitchen, make sure it's clean, make sure nothing's broken. If you want to do new cabinets, think about what the cost is going to be, what it's going to add to your bottom line, and whether or not somebody's going to like your taste. So unless your kitchen is really horrible, I would say make do with what you have and make some little changes. Maybe paint, perhaps change the hardware. Again, the handyman can be really helpful in this case. Also, a countertop can be very helpful. If you have an old Formica that might be chipped or scarred, that you get an inexpensive top that actually makes it look better. Granite, I hear, is really good if you have the complementary accessories in the kitchen where it would look nice. Baths, it's the same thing. You know, people may not like the style that you choose for a bathroom. I mean, the tiles are amazing now. I mean, it's gone from subway tiles to these, I think they're 12 inches square, these huge tiles. So instead of using 50, now you're using 6, you know, where you could use 50. So these are all things you have to consider. The next thing I would say is you need to organize your paperwork. Do you have any additions where perhaps you don't have a C of O? I had this situation recently with a house in Hicksville that the owner bought the house with an open permit. Nobody knew about it. And when I went to town hall to check, it became a big deal. They had to hire an electrician. It had to be inspected. The town had to come back and sign off that everything was done correctly, but we got it done. The title companies now, they're really, really very strict, and they're not going to close with any kind of open permit. So it's good to address all those things in advance. And a good agent is going to help you do all that. You don't have to do it. The good agent should be able to do it for you. The deed, see if you have a copy of your deed. Any trust documents, if your house is in a trust, you want to make sure you have that. Was your oil tank abandoned? If you converted from oil to gas in Nassau and Suffolk County, you have to prove that your oil tank was disposed of properly. Or I think the newer technique now is to blow in foam into the tanks. And that's something that an agent can help you with too. She can look on the, it's actually the Department of Health that has the records for that. There's also something that's now New York State law that each homeowner, each seller has to provide a complete property condition disclosure. So if you know you knew you had a leak in your ceiling, but it was addressed, it's great to be totally transparent about that. Talk about it, mention it, and then you describe how you cured it. That's a 6 or 7 page document that will come in any kind of listing paperwork that you have. And the last thing you need is a really good mover. You need a great mover. You need somebody that can help you figure out what you can keep, what you can take, and I will let Barbara take it from here.
Thank you, Pam.
One second, Barbara, before you begin, because that was a wonderful segue. Does anybody have any questions that have been on their mind in regard to moving? It's not like you can't ask later, but I just wanted to see if there was something on your mind that you wanted to ask Pam while it was in your head. No? All right. So, a raised hand. Denise?
Yes, I've been donating a lot of stuff. Most of it is my husband's, all his stuff. He passed away in March. And I've been exhausting all the different charities. And I'm wondering, like, am I going to get flagged by the IRS because I've used like veterans organizations about 3 times. I've already used the Salvation Army at least twice already. They're coming again because he had so much stuff. And like, are they going to be seeing like, how could you be donating all this? Are you like taking from other people? But it's all his stuff. You know, it's like how much do you really being you deal with people who have been cleaning out? Can you get flagged by the IRS from like, you know, keep donating and donating and donating?
I think you're safe, but I'm going to have Barbara.
Well, I think your accountant is the one to tell you what you can deduct and what you can't deduct. Honestly, you know, if you can't deduct $1 million worth of stuff, your house is worth $750.
but all of these organizations will give you a receipt. And
Right, they do.
yeah, so no, I have never, I'm doing this 18 years. I've never heard of anybody having a problem with, and I have experienced people with lots of stuff, really.
Okay,
So I don't think it'll be a problem, but I agree with Pam. Talk to your accountant.
all right, thank you.
Sure. Okay.
All right, Barbara, take it away.
Right, I'm up. So, thank you all for listening. And I agree with Pam, really my takeaway on that is like, don't spend a lot of money to think that you're gonna recoup it. Don't do a new kitchen, don't do, the kind of like, don't spend good money after bad. I've in 18 years experienced real estate brokers that gave all kinds of things that you should do, and I disagree with that. I know Pam's on the same page with me. You kind of have to have, when people walk into your home, that they can envision them living in it. So you have to declutter, make sure all of your, how come this isn't right? Make sure everything is the line of sight is clear. So as they're looking, it's clear for them. I've walked into people's houses and they say, "Oh, I'm moving tomorrow," and everything's all out. Because they're all packed. It's really pretty funny, but it's not funny when the movers get there. But I help people, and what we try to do is make it categorize it, and I categorize by color, like what's most important to you, because you're looking at a room and you have so much stuff. But if you could go and say, okay, I really need this, I really love this, I really need this, and I use green because green goes with you. So market green. You could do it with your dishes, you do it with your clothing, do it with your shoes. Put together all your pants. How many pairs of black pants do you have? Do they fit? Is there a button missing? Are they, do you like them? So you can sort down, and then the most important stuff gets green, and that's what you're going to be packing. The rest of it, Denise, like you're doing, you're going to either sell it, which I can help people when they're selling things. If it has value, I have appraisers. I have a good idea of what goes. If you think in terms of younger people now that are buying and setting up homes, the younger generation doesn't like any brown furniture. They don't like dishware. They don't like any of the collectibles that people have had for years. They don't like a big hutch. Many of them don't even have a dining room table. So if you think of supply and demand, if the people that are moving in don't want these things, then there's no demand. So therefore, the value has gone down. The thing that really, really, really has not only held, but gone way above is gold. And for that matter, costume jewelry sells too. So like, don't throw it out. That's a possibility. But so you start by color coding. What's most important? What do you absolutely need? Again, will it fit? Do you like it? We can help you determine the value, have your items appraised and valued. Does anybody have any questions about what I just said? Valuations?
No questions yet in the chat.
No, okay. So one of the things that's kind of important, if you know where you're going when you're moving, we do floor plans so that you could figure what furniture is going to fit and what isn't going to fit. So we can measure the furniture that you currently have. We can measure where you're going. I am part of the National Association of Senior Move Managers. I'm actually A+ rated, which means I'm bonded, insured, and they've audited me regularly. But in that, I also have colleagues around the country, and for that matter, around the world, that do what I do. So many times, if people are moving to Florida or Pennsylvania or California, or I've done Europe, we can help them on both ends. So we help them downsize and pack and move on this end, and then they receive it on the other end. So that's a really wonderful feature. Everybody that I use is bonded and insured. Pam told you about my wonderful handyman. And then once you've done the floor plan and you're figuring what you're taking, sorting down and taking, we will bring supplies, we will pack, we will move you, unpack or arrange the unpacking if you'd like. And then the bottom line is you have to broom sweep the house or the apartment before you can hand over the keys to Pam or the real estate broker. So that the people come in and it's all clean. And so then I'm handing it back to Pam.
Well, we just had a question
Yeah.
from Allie. Love that jewelry organizer. Where can I get one?
Oh my God. They're all over the place. Seriously, you could get it online. You could get it on Amazon for sure. You could get it at TJ Maxx. You could get it at Target. You could, but the other side is one side is for earrings and the other side is for hanging necklaces.
So that just shows Barbara's organization.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to also say that sometimes this also all sounds, and I think you both agree, like it's a bit overwhelming, right? People get, they say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, but don't eat elephants.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing. And Pam and Barbara both work to make it as easy as possible. When you're working with them, it's not as if you're on your own. It's as if, okay, somebody's got this right. So I know for me, when I think about my brother moved recently and from Manhattan, and I was like, you have so much stuff. I wouldn't even think about moving. Like it sounds too hard. But I do know that it's definitely easier and it's more palatable when you have Barbara and Pam, right? Just even sorting the things that you want and don't want, that's very emotional.
Yeah.
And their expertise, because they're experts in this specifically, they know how to help. They know how to make it less overwhelming. They know how to work with you, and they understand that these things, your home has lots of memories in it. It means a lot to you. And so, and your things do, and they have memories attached. So even if you're not moving, it's a great idea to be talking with people like Pam and Barbara, because it gets you ready so that nothing seems overwhelming. Obviously, if you call them at the last moment, they'll still help and make it seamless. But just as a patient advocate, I know this too, right? If you have a little bit more preparation and you know what's to come and you have people in your corner that can help you, it just makes life a lot easier.
And it's also really healthy to declutter, to get rid of all the extra. I mean, it sits around, it drives you crazy, it collects dust, it's costing you money, it's taking up space in your home.
And in your brain, right?
Yeah.
Like when you have a lot of stuff going around, it really does take up brain space that you don't even realize.
Mm-hmm. So it's healthier to declutter.
It's much healthier.
And we can do that if somebody's not moving. But
yeah.
More often than not, people come to us because they're, oh, what am I gonna do?
How do I choose? Allie asking questions about how do I choose where to sell my gold?
I have a wonderful guy that specializes in gold.
Yes.
Contact me.
So yeah, Barbara's a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
When she says to donate, to sell, it's not like, okay, go donate it. Okay, go sell it. She's going to help you make that happen.
Yeah, I can direct you. And yeah, so that's, I call myself a solution provider because that's what, people have problems and I got to give you a solution. So your gold, if you want to take pictures and send it to me, that'll work. My phone number is
Wait, I'll actually go to a slide so I can share it. So you guys can have all of the contact information, because I know sometimes when we're saying it, it's a little trickier. But any other questions while I pull that up? Can you see it? The information?
yeah. Uh-huh.
I'd like to also address the idea of where you're going to go. I mean, that's always the big question. I know we're talking about maximizing value here, but if you're just at the stage where you're thinking about moving, maybe you need to access the equity in the house, or the house is too large, or you're too far from family, maybe it's not safe. Where are you going to go? What is the thought process there? Those of us we're all getting older, right? Depends on where you're starting, but some of us are older than others. And, we really want to think about where we're sleeping. Is it upstairs? Where's the laundry? Co-ops are sometimes challenging for older adults that don't have income, that have assets. Some boards are really, really difficult. So you want to think about where you're going to go and how you're going to get there, obviously. Obviously, people like Barbara and I can help with that. But before you put your house on the market, you want to, maybe you bought something already. It used to be back in the day, you would never, ever buy something before you sold your house. It seems to be a little bit different now. It seems to be you need to find a place to go before you can sell your house. Because if your house is priced right, it will sell. It will sell. I mean, I can't guarantee it, but unless something happens that's external that we have no control over, a good agent's going to be able to help you price your house just right. We're not going to be able to, if we get greedy. And on Wall Street, there was an expression: there are three kinds of people: bulls, bears, and pigs get slaughtered. So you don't want to be greedy and be sitting there with an asset that you think is worth more than it is. Because it's very clear, it's easy. You just see what's selling around and you make adjustments for what your house is compared to other houses. And now you have an environment where interest rates are in a falling mode. Now the 30-year mortgage doesn't fall as quickly as Fed funds, which is what the Fed adjusts, but there is a relationship. And people do feel better when rates are lower, and they can pay their debt back a little bit quicker. So, I mean, I'm available if anybody needs a consultation. We work for nothing and we work 24/7. What's better than that for consumers?
What's better than that for us? Not so much for you.
I'll come do a free consultation. Try, to try to help you. It is complicated. Pam breaks it down. I break it down so that it's not complicated.
So again, I want to thank Barbara and Pam for their tremendous knowledge and just being beautiful people. And thank you all for coming. And we'll see you next time. Actually, next month, our webinar will be on Medicare 2026 with the Answers for Care Pro, Jane O'Malley. So we will see you then. Thanks so much.
Great. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.